Hey guys, it's Katora here, doing another review of The Walking Dead, Season 8, Episode 10, I think it is. And right now I'm about to go fix dinner so I can eat dinner while watching The Walking Dead, and I'll be back in about a half hour to an hour. So right now it's about 3:49. It doesn't even matter what time it is because you guys probably won't see this until later on tonight. So just bear with me, and I'll probably videotape myself cooking dinner like such a nerd that I am. So just bear with me, and I'll be back soon for a review of The Walking Dead Season 8, Episode 10. Alright you guys, so I kind of lied. I'm actually not making dinner. I'm making my breakfast for tomorrow morning. It's going to be this lovely sausage over here that I got in the pan, frying. I'm not sure if you guys can see that. There you go. Lovely sausage. Gotta like that sausage. Get your minds out of the gutter. I'm also making some grilled cheese. You can see there's a bread. And I'm gonna make some eggs and, so I can have all that deliciousness before I go on the phones for the first time tomorrow. I'm really excited about tomorrow being on the phones. I used to answer the phones when I was at Walmart, but this time I'm gonna be answering the phones like all day. Tomorrow it'll probably be 2 to 4 hours, which is gonna be freaking awesome. We're gonna be teaming up, and that's going to be pretty fun to watch, or pretty fun to actually be involved with. But I'm going to let you guys go, and I will see you guys in a bit. Hey guys, it's Katora. I'm back. It's been about 2 hours since I was supposed to upload this video, but the internet was down and I couldn't watch The Walking Dead. I got halfway through and then it completely stopped, so I had to wait an hour for it to get back up, and I didn't want to use my data on my phone to watch the episode because that's a lot of data, and I'm paying enough as it is. So I'm going to start off with Jadis. I absolutely do not feel bad for Jadis because she turned her back on Rick. She betrayed him, and she also betrayed Negan and the Saviors. So she kind of got what was coming to her. I mean, she didn't deserve for her whole crew to get gunned down by Simon's goons or Negan's goons, whoever's goons they are. But I don't feel bad for her. I just feel bad that she is alone now. All of her people, all of her trash people from the Mad Max movies got mowed down. But in that scene where she was by herself and she made all of her walker trash people go into that wood chipper, I would have done that scene differently in the fact that I would not have had that sappy piano music, which was, I guess, ushering us to feel bad for her, which I would have done without. And I also would have done without the black and white flashbacks of her people getting, gunned down. That to me was a little bit much. It was a little too dramatic for me. So I don't feel bad for her. I feel bad that she lost her people, but I don't feel bad for her personally, because in the end she actually kind of got what she, it's karma. Unfortunately, karma does work in the zombie world too. Next, I'd like to talk about Simon. When Negan told Simon to only kill one and the lesson is done, those weren't his exact words, but I understood it like that because that's how Negan works. I don't think that Simon should have mowed down every one of Jadis's people. He should have just done what Negan said, because once Negan finds out that Simon just did his own thing and killed all the trash people from the Mad Max movies, he's going to be pretty pissed. And Simon is one of my favorite characters, and I really don't want him to die. I really don't want Simon to die, even though he is a savior and he is, a villain. But that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Simon's going to get his death sentence by Lucille pretty soon. I can feel it once Negan finds out that Simon did his own thing. Well, did what he wanted to originally do, was to kill all the trash people from the Mad Max movies. And I think next I'd like to talk about Enid and Aaron. I don't think that, I think that Aaron should have stayed like he did. Maybe he has a plan. He has his way of going about it. He said he's not going to go back inside the compound, because I know that they will kill him if he does go back into the compound with the island full of women. That's kind of reminding me of Wonder Woman for some reason. But I think I'm hoping he's a character that's going to stay around for a while if the show survives this season and has a 9th season. I'm kind of feeling like it's not gonna. So unfortunately, I don't think it's gonna survive this season. I think this is gonna be the last season for The Walking Dead. Unfortunately, that's where my spidey senses is going towards. I really feel bad for Enid though. I really, my heart goes out to her because once she finds out that Carl is no longer around, she's probably going to have a moment of what the fuck. So just like I would if I was in that situation in a zombie apocalypse as a teenage girl, I guess. But anyway, and I'd like to talk about, I'm gonna take a side road real quick and talk about the dynamic between Simon and Negan, because there's something going on there. And here's what I think. I've never read any of the comics before, but I really think that the dynamic between Negan and Simon is this. This is just my theory. You can disagree. You can disagree with me if you like. Go ahead. You could comment below. We can talk about it. But this is what I feel the dynamic is. I think that where the sanctuary is possibly belonged to Simon at first. Simon probably worked there, or he probably owned the company, or he probably had something to do with that building. Because I get the sense that he was a big player, not like a player, but he was a big honcho guy way back before the apocalypse happened, because he talks like that. That's the vibe that I'm getting from Simon, which is a kudos on Stephen Ogg's performance. And then we have Negan, who has this bat, which is covered in barbed wire. I think from what I heard of Negan's story was he did cheat on his wife, but he never said her name. So I'm thinking that Lucille is probably not his wife's name. It's probably the woman he was cheating on. And I don't know, that's just my theory. It's different in the comics. Obviously, his wife's name was Lucille in the comics, but he never said to Gabriel that his wife's name was Lucille. So there's that open door. Lucille could have been the woman that he was running around with. Who knows? But the dynamic between Simon and Negan. I think Negan went to the sanctuary before it was a sanctuary for shelter. And he didn't like the way that things were ran. So he took over. He got his bat covered in barbed wire and took over. He didn't like the fact that, Simon was running things and he was probably just killing everyone that he came across. And Negan saw a better way. So that's my my take on the Simon and Negan dynamic. But next I would like to talk about Negan and Rick. That dynamic is more complicated, obviously. And what I'm going to say about that one is, right now, you can hate me if you want, you can be a hater, but as of today, or as of last week, I am Team Negan. That's just the way it is. And here's why. Here's why I am Team Negan. Because, to me, in this episode, the Lost and The Plunderers, you can see the expression on Negan's face when he finds out that Carl is dead. It really impacted him in such a way that I got a feeling from Negan that he, once he heard that Carl wrote a letter, or Coral wrote a letter to him asking him to stop, you can see the wheels turning in his head that he was considering stopping. He was considering halting this war and possibly coming to a resolution with Rick. But Rick, all Rick sees is blood, and all Rick smells is blood. He's blaming everything on Negan and taking absolutely zero ownership of any situation that he's in. The situation with Carl, I actually do blame Rick, because, sure, around the time where they met Siddiq at that convenience store, that gas station place, Rick didn't know friend from foe unless they were all the time with Rick on his team. So he shot above Siddiq's head, and Siddiq ran away. Carl went back and tried to find the guy that Rick, shot above his head. Siddiq, I think his name is. And he tried to find him, tried to help him, tried to correct his father's wrong, and ended up getting bit. None of that had to happen. So yeah, I do kind of blame Rick. Yeah, sure, Carl didn't have to go after him, but Carl was at a point where he believed in hope, and unfortunately, when you do become the moral compass of The Walking Dead, you end up becoming dead, unfortunately. And so yeah, I do kind of blame Rick for that just a little bit, but he's not taking any ownership of that, which kind of really sucks. He's not stepping outside of his shoes and looking at the whole situation, which you have to do in those times, and in this time of no government, or in this time of death. So I am definitely Team Negan. Negan sees a resolution. Yeah, he might have to take out one or two people of Rick's, but Rick is just wanting to take everybody out. No survivors. And that's not the way you gotta live. That's not the way you gotta do things. At least with Negan, he'll leave some people alive. Remember, if you gotta work for him, but I don't think that's where Negan's head is right now. I think Negan would actually consider working with Rick. Maybe not side by side, but there would be some room for some compromise. The death of Carl really impacted Negan, and it impacted the show, and unfortunately it impacted Rick in a negative way, as the death of any child would to a parent. I would expect that. But sooner or later, Rick's kind of he's gotta see the bigger picture. And the bigger picture is, with talking and resolution and compromise, there are better things out there than just all-out war and death. There are some outposts that Negan had where the Saviors where the Saviors had nothing to do with the war. They were completely innocent of any wrongdoing, I guess, in terms of what Rick and his group had to go through, in terms of Alexandria and the Hilltop, not Alexandria, I meant to say the Kingdom and the Hilltop, but the only one that survived from those outposts were I think the 30 or 39 people that's held hostage at the Hilltop with Maggie and Baby Grace. And that's about it. And besides the people that are at the sanctuary. So this episode, though it could have been a lot better, and I guess writing and directing, it could have been a whole lot better, and I would have been more eager to see more meat in this episode. And there wasn't enough meat, there wasn't enough power in this episode. It just kind of flatlined in some areas. But other than that, it was a really good episode, and I enjoyed it. I am Team Negan. Go Jeffrey Dean Morgan. And I think that's it. I think I've said all I wanted to say, and I've said my piece. If you want to say your piece, go ahead and comment below. And if you like this video, you can go ahead and give me a thumbs up. Just always give me a thumbs up no matter what anyway. So even if you don't like the video, give me a thumbs up anyway. Don't forget to subscribe and click on that bell so you can get notifications when I come out with a new video. Hopefully I'll come out with more videos in the next month, at least 2 a week, to keep you guys interested in watching. So that was my piece, and you guys go out and love each other, hug each other, don't count favors, and peace out and namaste.